I do think that they're going to find a backdoor into the playoff. They're bringing back Trinidad Chambliss. They're bringing back Kwan Lacey. I think the main issue for them was a quarterback at that point. Yes, Jeremiah Love is gone, but I think C.J. Carr is just going to play better overall. Quincy Porter. All right, welcome everybody to Wyatt Zang's College Football Show. We're here for another edition of the show. And like I said on, I guess that would be the Monday show, was our last show. It was Monday. Like I said on that show, we're going to be doing a full college football playoff bracket predictions and breakdown. So it's my way too early college football playoff predictions. Which teams do I think are going to compete in the college football playoff in 2026? I'm going to be giving my full breakdown, and that's it for the show. We're just doing a playoff edition of the show. So like I said, it's going to be just full playoff. Nothing else, just playoff. But before we jump right into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and the podcast because I post all these episodes in podcast form. If you want these in podcast form, you can go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast, we're there. You can also follow me on Twitter at Wyatt Zang CFB. Subscribe to the channel, like I said. Get down in the comments because I love to get down in the comments and discuss college football with you guys. You know, what did you like? What did you dislike in my playoff? Whatever. Just get down in the comments and let me know. All right. With that being said, we can jump right into the show. So, college football playoff predictions. Before we jump into that, I do want to recap my conference championship predictions that I did on the Monday show. So I did a full conference championship Power 4 conferences predictions. I predicted each conference champion on the Monday show, so I do want to recap that here real quick. Starting in the SEC, I had Texas over Georgia, and again, I don't see a need to change that, so I'm going to keep Texas over Georgia in the SEC championship. Big Ten championship, I had Ohio State versus Oregon, and I had Ohio State winning. Like I said, there's not too much I want to switch about that prediction. I think that's where I'm at right now, and again, it's way too early. I'm going to do my actual season predictions again before the season, so in the late or mid-August, we'll do this all again. As my Big 12, I had Texas Tech beating Arizona. So I had Arizona making it. A lot of people are probably like, well, that's pretty lofty there. Well, I think that Arizona is going to be a pretty solid team heading into 2026. So give me Texas Tech over Arizona. And then the ACC, I have Miami versus SMU, and I have Miami winning. So SMU makes it to their second ACC championship in 3 years. 2 years ago, they played Clemson, and they lost. I think Miami's going to beat SMU. I think SMU is going to take their second ACC championship game loss in 3 years. So give me Miami, Texas Tech, Ohio State, and Texas as our Power 4 conference champs. And then my G5 team will be USF. So that'll be my G5 playoff team at the 12 seed. All right, now we can jump into my top 12, and then we'll get to a playoff, and we'll predict the entire playoff. All right. Here's my top 12. I have I have USF at the 12 seed. I have them there because I just think that they're the best G5 team. You can make an argument for a North Texas, a Tulane, a Navy even. Navy's been pretty solid these past few years. You can make an argument for that, but I'm going to say that USF, bringing in Brian Hartline, you look at Tulane and North Texas, they lost both their head coaches to other bigger programs. So John Sumrall from Tulane went to Florida. Eric Morris from North Texas went to Oklahoma State. So you see those two head coaches and there's two programs stripped of their head coaches. So when I look at them, I don't really see playoff potential. You could make an argument for James Madison. They're bringing in Billy Napier. It's year one. I don't know how year one's going to go for Billy Napier. Now, again, that's the same thing. You could say the same thing with Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline's year one. But I just think that Brian Hartline is the better option to go with. I think he's going to have a better year at USF. USF brought in a couple decent quarterbacks. They brought in Luke Kromenhoek as one of the quarterbacks, Michael Van Buren as one of the quarterbacks. So when I look at USF, I see a team that has potential. At my number 11 seed, this is my first non-G5 team. That would be USC. I think USC is going to be an amazing team. I do think that they're going to find a backdoor into the playoff. They're not going to be a team that's like, oh, they're 100% in the playoff. I just think that they're going to be like a 10-2 team and find and back their way into the playoff. They're gonna be the guy that's just late to the party, but he made it in time, just barely. I think that's gonna be USC. So I have them at 11. Number 10 for me is Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma Sooners are gonna be a phenomenal team. With John Mateer coming back, Brent Venables is back as the head coach. I like what they have. I don't see an issue or a reason to not put them in the playoff. They were in the playoffs last year. They were the 8 seed, so I do think they're going to go back 2 spots in the playoff. That's just because I think there's a lot more loaded teams ahead of them. So to go with Oklahoma at 10, that leaves me with Ole Miss at 9. I like Ole Miss at 9. I think Ole Miss is going to be a phenomenal team. When you look at Ole Miss's returning production, they're bringing back Trinidad Chambliss. They're bringing back Kwan Lacey. He's the running back from Ole Miss. He was a 1,500-yard rusher. He's third in touchdowns, I think second in rushing yards or vice versa. He was a phenomenal player. So when I see that they're bringing back both their top playmakers on offense, I'm all in. Pete Golding's the coach there. I'm all in. Indiana is the 8 seed. I think Indiana is going to be one of those teams that you look at them and you were like, they're not as good as last year, but they're a pretty darn good team still. I think Indiana, bringing in Josh Hoover and Nick Marsh, those are a quarterback from TCU and a wide receiver from Michigan State. Those two are going to mesh very well. I think that that's going to be a potential to be a top wide receiver quarterback combo heading into 2026. And then number 7 for me is Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a team that I think can be very improved. Like when you look at them heading into 2025 last year, and you look at them throughout 2025 last year, I think the main issue for them was a quarterback at that point. I do think Baron Morton was a phenomenal quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But I think that with a quarterback like Brendan Sorsby, who they brought in through the portal, is just going to escalate their potential. And I think that they're just going to be a better team overall. Now, them being the 7 seed may look like that they're going to be worse than they were last year, and maybe defensively, but I think that they're going to be the Big 12 winners, and I think that they're going to get the 7 seed. Number 6, give me the SEC runner-up, the Georgia Bulldogs at number 6. I think Georgia is a team that's going to probably be in that 11-2 spot. They're going to probably be like 11-1 regular season, lose in the SEC championship, and be around that 11-2. I think Texas Tech's going to be around that 12-1-ish, and you can make an argument to switch them. But I think when you look at Georgia's strength of schedule, it's going to be a lot harder than Texas Tech. So that's why I have them at 6. Gunnar Stockton comes back. Nate Frazier comes back. I just really like what Georgia has as a team. All right, heading into the top 5 here. Number 5 is a team that I think warrants this position. They're a very phenomenal team. Like when you look at them as a program and as a team, heading into 2026, when you look at them as a team, I think that Notre Dame at 5 makes a lot of sense. This is one of the best teams Notre Dame's going to have in, I would say, the 2023 team was really good, but I think that this Notre Dame team is going to be pretty good. I would say it's the best team they've had when you compare this year and last year. We'll just stick with that. We don't want to compare against other Notre Dame teams. We'll stick with that. This is the best team I think they're going to have when you talk about 2025 and 2026 combined. I think that, yes, Jeremiah Love is gone, but I think C.J. Carr is just going to play better overall. Quincy Porter's coming in as a wide receiver from Ohio State. I just think that they're going to have a lot more potential this year, and they're going to be a lot more upside with Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman's still there as the coach. All is good and well there. Number 4 is going to be my Big Ten runner-up, Oregon. I think Oregon's going to be one of those teams that could rattle off like an undefeated regular season, and most likely, like I said, I predicted them to lose in the Big Ten. So I think they're going to be like a 12-1 at the 4 seed. Dante Moore comes back. I'm really excited to see what he can do as year 2 as the Oregon starter. I think there's a lot of potential there. I really do. When I look at the Oregon offense, and honestly Oregon as a team, I see a team that has a lot more potential and a lot more upside than I think last year's team. Last year's team, I think once we got to the end of the regular season, even the playoff, we started to notice a cap on Oregon. It's like Oregon can only be this good. We don't know. I'm not sure how good Oregon's going to be this year. I think that they're going to be a pretty phenomenal team. All right, number 3 for me is going to be a team that I really like. I really like, especially in the conference that they're in. Like when you look at the conference that this team is in, they're easily the best team in their conference. And that's Miami. Miami is the best ACC team. There is no questions really. Like when I look at Miami and I compare them with other ACC teams, so SMU, so Virginia, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Florida State, Pitt, Louisville. When I compare those teams, Georgia Tech, when I take those teams and I compare them to Miami, I don't see another team that really even comes close to Miami in the ACC. So that's why I have them at 3. I think they're going to win their conference. I think that they have potential to go 12-1. I don't see many losses on this schedule. I mean, they play Notre Dame, but with the way I have Miami positioned, I'm basically predicting Miami to beat Notre Dame, and I think I'm gonna say that Miami beats Notre Dame. That's just gonna be my prediction. All right, final 2 teams here. Number 2 is Texas. Number 1 is Ohio State. So Texas at number 2. The reason I have them there is because I just think that Texas is way more talented than a lot of teams in the country. Now, I know they're coming off of a very disappointing year in 2025. They're coming off of a solid team. It's just it did not perform. So Arch Manning didn't perform like they wanted him to, and that team as a whole just did not perform. When I look at them heading into 2026, I see a team that almost has too much potential to not work out. Like this team is almost too good to not work. I think if they don't have a successful season, then you could make a case for a Steve Sarkisian calling for his job. Now, I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but I'm saying this team has too much potential to fail. That's my opinion. And then 1 is Ohio State. Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith. This team's just going to be phenomenal. They do replace a lot on the defense, so I am worried about that. And I also am worried about their schedule. They have the toughest schedule by far in the Big Ten. They might have the toughest schedule in the country. I mean, they have to play Indiana, they have to play USC, they have to play Oregon, they have to play Michigan. It's not an easy road. So I look at Ohio State and I see a team that could probably lose 2 games, and I see a team that could probably go 12-1, 13-1 if they win the Big Ten. So I think that Ohio State's going to be a 13-1 team, winning the Big Ten and only suffering maybe 1 loss in the regular season. All right, that is my top 12. Now we can kind of get into what my bracket's going to look like. So I have a full bracket in front of me here written down that I'm going to kind of go over. I have my predictions on it and everything. I'm excited to go over this bracket. I will admit that. Looking at it right now, it gets me excited for the season. I can't wait. I'm more of a regular season guy than the playoff guy, though, so I just want the regular season to come. Just give me week 1. Give me week 0 at this point. I don't care. Just give me some football. All right. Starting off at the top of the bracket, I guess, USF Notre Dame. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I really like Notre Dame, obviously. I mean, it's going to be in South Bend. USF is just not on the same level as Notre Dame, so give me Notre Dame in that matchup. Ole Miss, Indiana. This is going to be the first matchup that I think is going to be a neck-and-neck pick. Trinidad Chambliss, Kwan Lacey versus, Nick Marsh, Josh Hoover. I think at that point we're going to compare coaching staffs, and I do like Indiana's coaching staff a lot more than I like Ole Miss's coaching staff at the point that, or at the position that Ole Miss is in. I like Indiana's and Kurt Cignetti's coaching staff a lot more. So give me Indiana in that matchup. USC, Georgia. This is sneakily one of the most interesting first-round matchups because we have not, similar to the Ole Miss-Indiana one, we have just not had this matchup ever. I mean, a lot of these playoff matchups we haven't had. We have not had this matchup ever. They're not even in the same conference, nothing. So I cannot wait to see this matchup. But in terms of raw talent and coaching staff and just who I think is going to win, I think it's Georgia. I would be surprised if this bracket actually worked out this way and they played each other and USC won. That would be shocking. It'd be good for Lincoln Riley, but I think Georgia and Kirby are going to get it done. All right, OU and Texas Tech. Oklahoma, Texas Tech. That's going to be a phenomenal game. When I look at this game, I see a lot of nostalgia back to Oklahoma in the Big 12, getting those vibes, Big 12 vibes here. I do. I've talked up Oklahoma and I've talked up John Mateer almost too much to not pick them. Like, they're my sleeper team. So give me Oklahoma to beat Texas Tech in that first round matchup at Texas Tech, at Lubbock. They're going to go to Lubbock, Texas, and they're going to beat Texas Tech. That's my prediction. All right, second round, Notre Dame versus Oregon. This one, I think out of all these games that I'm about to predict, this one was the toughest. I predicted the entire second round, and then I had to come back to this game because I was like, I just don't know what to do here. I ended up going with Oregon because I think Oregon's team is slightly going to be better. Coaching staffs can be compared, and Oregon's coming off of losing both coordinators. So I do like Oregon's team, though, better than I like Notre Dame's team. So give me Oregon to win that matchup. Indiana, Ohio State. It's a rematch of the regular season. These two teams would have played in the regular season. Give me Ohio State over Indiana. I think Ohio State with Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith winning this game, I think is just I just see Ohio State winning this game. I think if these two teams play in the regular season, I think Ohio State wins as well. So give me Ohio State winning that game. Georgia, Miami. This is a tough one. This is another one that is interesting. I just cannot get over. I can't get over this game. Man, this is another tough game to pick. But I did settle on Miami. Here's my reasons. When you compare rosters, Darian Mensah, Gunnar Stockton, pretty comparable. Mark Fletcher, Nate Frazier, pretty comparable. I think Mark Fletcher's a better running back. But then you look at the receiver room of Miami with Malachi Toney. I think that they're going to be able to give Darian Mensah what he needs elsewhere on the ground, yards after the catch to beat Georgia. So I like Miami moving on to the semifinal. And then OU Texas. This is where OU's magical run is going to have to end. Give me Texas to win that matchup. Sadly, hate to do it. I'd love to see Oklahoma get to the semifinal. I just can't do it. I just can't do it yet. So give me Texas and Miami in the semifinal and Oregon and OSU in the semifinal. All right. Oregon, Ohio State. Who do I have winning that game? Who is going to the national championship on the upper side of the bracket? Give me Ohio State. I think Ohio State winning this matchup is it's going to be a tough game. These two teams would have played in the regular season and the Big Ten and now the playoff. So, man, this is tough. This is really tough. I just think that Ohio State's team stacked up against each other. Like, it's tough to predict a team to beat the same team twice or three times. It's tough to predict it twice. It's tough to predict it three times, though. It's hard to beat a team three times. But I am going to take Ohio State to do the impossible and beat a team three times. So give me Ohio State to the national championship versus Miami or Texas. And it is, I almost said Miami. It is Texas. I wrote down Texas. I'm not changing it. It was Texas all along. I just think when you look at Arch Manning and you look at Cam Coleman and Hollywood Smothers in the background or in the backfield, that is just a team that's too good to not have in the championship. And if they don't get there, it's going to be a lot of talk around Steve Sarkisian and his job. But give me Ohio State and Texas in the national championship. And the winner of my national championship is Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to be a team that's, it's my champion, is Ohio State. I don't see a reason to not have them as the champion. I think that they're going to be too good to almost not put in the championship. When you look at Ohio State, I see a team that's just going to be phenomenal. With Julian Sand and Jeremiah Smith all coming back. It's going to be Julian Sand's second year as the starter, more experienced. Jeremiah Smith's third year as the wide receiver one. They're going to add Brandon Inniss at wide receiver 2. You're going to have Chris Henry Jr. At wide receiver, the freshman. I just see too much talent on both these teams, but I see slightly bit more on Ohio State and their will to win. So give me Ohio State to win the national championship. Again, that could change, and it probably will change. Like, this bracket will look different whenever we get closer to the season. In August, I'll re-predict this entire thing and give my full preseason predictions. But as of right now, as it stands right now, I like Ohio State over Texas. Let me know in the comments if you would change any of this, what you would change, because you can't just tell me that, oh, this is dumb. Well, tell me why it's dumb and what's your bracket. Like, a lot of people hit me up in the comments of one of my rankings with Mac Brown. When I ranked head coaches, they went up to Mac Brown and they're like, no way this guy's top 10. Well, if he's not rated top 10, where are you rating him? You can't tell me that he's not top 10 and then, not tell me where you would put him. Because if I can go around and say, oh, Ohio State's not winning the national championship, no way. Well, then who is? You got to tell me who is winning the national championship. So that's just a little rant there. But yeah, that is my bracket. Take a good look at that. Is my March 20th bracket at the time of this video releasing. So yeah, give me Ohio State over Texas in my way too early national championship college football playoff bracket, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's insane that I'm doing this in March, but thought it was a good idea. So, maybe this video will get 2 views. Maybe it'll get a bunch of views. We'll see. But yeah, let me know in the comments what your playoff bracket would be. And yeah, one thing I wanted to dive in real quick, just like 2 minutes, is playoff expansion. While we're on the subject of playoff, I did want to address that playoff expansion, I do hope it doesn't happen. There's rumors of 16, 24. I've seen rumors of a 68 team, but I think 12 is good enough. So yeah, 12-team tournament for college football is good. We don't need 68. We don't need 24. We don't even need 16. 14 or 12 is good enough. Don't even need 14. We just leave it at 12. So yeah, that is my full little way too early college football playoff bracket. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we will see you guys back here Monday for another episode of Wyatt Zang's College Football Show. Hope you guys have a great start to your weekend. We'll see you guys Monday.